Check, check. Jesus Christ the King. There we go. Yeah, that's good. Check. La, dee, dum. Okay, it's a little low, but it's okay. Now you got it. Nice to meet you. Oh, it was from there? No, I'm good. Thank you so much. That's really nice. No, I refuse. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's like when I tell people, don't give me your garden to tend unless you want your plants to die. Don't do it. Don't do it. I have water. I'm good. I'll do it. I got it. It's okay. Hello, everybody. There's a party going on in here, clearly. Merry whatever holiday you're celebrating, most likely Christmas. My name is Daniel Nahmod. I am. Thank you. If I moved to California in 1998, am I now from California? All right, I'm from Chicago. I'm from Chicago, but now I'm from Orange County, where I met a nice, cute girl who had a cute house and a cute dog and married her. And, and now we have a cute boy and another cute dog, so I must have done something good. You know what? Welcome, everybody. Lisa and I talked about an opening song that was appropriate for the holidays, and I have, in fact, written, in the spirit of a long line of Jewish songwriters who have written Christmas songs, this is mine, the one and only Christmas song I ever wrote. It was written, a very heartfelt little song that I wrote after a very special day, watching a Unity Church, in fact, sponsor and support 300 families in the Phoenix area at a school, give away toys and dolls and grocery store gift certificates and bikes and baked cookies. And it was such a special day. That day I wrote this little song, so I'll share it with you now. I get to sing it once a year, and here we are. And thanks to the band for working this up with me. A little song by Danny called "There's Something About Christmas." Here we go. There's something about Christmas in the eyes of a child, in the anticipation, in the guaranteed smiles. There's something about Christmas, nothing compares. It's sweeter than candy, it's lighter than air. Is it the candles or the carols or the presents that we love? Is it Santa or the mistletoe or all of the above? There's something about Christmas, this mysterious power to make a heart full of memories in 24 tower, the mistletoe, or all of the above. There's something about Christmas, this mysterious power to make a heart full of memories in only 24 hours. Or maybe it's the way we feel at one with all mankind. There's something about Christmas time. There's something about Christmas time.
Thank you.
Good morning. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and as Daniel said, all the other holidays that we celebrate this time of year. My name is Carl Jansen, and welcome to Unity of Walnut Creek.
And I'm Carolyn Jansen, and we welcome you to our service today. Please join us in turning to the camera and waving to our folks at home. We welcome you, and we enjoy your presence, and thank you for being with us today.
We're delighted to welcome Daniel Nahmod as our featured artist this morning. You're invited to greet him on the patio after the service and check out his music and join him for a concert here this afternoon, and we'll talk about those details a little later.
And we also have David on piano this morning, Dusty is on bass, and Dan is on drums. Thank you all for sharing your music with us. This morning, Reverend Kristen continues the Season of Light series, and today we discover abiding joy. 'Tis the season. As we begin, I invite you to turn your phones to silent so that we can enjoy our service together.
But first, let's take a moment to be grateful for this land that our center rests upon. This is Ohlone, Bay Miwok, and Ukot's land. And we honor its ancestry, and we are grateful for those who came before us. And we commit to taking care of these sacred grounds and Mother Earth.
Unity is a positive path for spiritual growth. Our vision for our world is we envision a spiritually awakened world where all life thrives in conscious oneness.
And our mission is who we have come here to be. So let's say this together. We are a loving, inclusive community, expanding and living our divinity in sacred service for all. And our core values are love, connection, service, and wisdom.
If you're with us for the first time, welcome. Is there anyone here for the first time? Please raise your hand. Welcome, welcome. Glad to have you. Please visit our bookstore because there's a little gift there for you and some introductory materials. And hope you'll stay around so we can greet you on the patio afterwards. Welcome.
Connection cards are available in the newcomer welcome packets and in the seat pockets in front of you. These are for everyone. With a card, you may submit a prayer request, and someone will pray with you throughout the week.
And you can also share feedback and request information on that card, and then just place the card in the offering basket at that time. For those of you viewing online, connection cards are on the live watch page, and just please press that, I guess.
Please consider comfort levels when greeting each other today and after service with namaste bows, elbow bumps, handshakes, and hugs. Oh, good. We welcome you to socialize on the patio after the service and visit our bookstore.
Our campus is open for on-site classes and groups, but masks must be worn indoors at Unity. And please wear your mask properly, over the nose and the mouth. and below your chin. Masking outdoors is optional.
As we move into Christmas week, we have activities and events for you to participate in all week long, starting this afternoon.
And this afternoon is Daniel Nahmod concert. We got our tickets right away, and I hope you'll be able to join us. Daniel continues to be one of our favorites here at Unity of Walnut Creek, and his concerts are always uplifting. Grab some lunch after service and come back in the afternoon at 2 o'clock for a wonderful performance. And if you still need tickets, you can pick them up in our bookstore.
Or on the website,
Oh, that's right, yeah.
or at the door too. So there you go. 3 options, many options. We are thrilled to announce that your generosity has made our holiday giving drives a success. We thank everyone who contributed food and items for the homeless. We have collected an abundance of items for the homeless, and we filled 2 barrels of food. And since we live abundance here at Unity of Walnut Creek, we're going to get a 3rd barrel and fill that before the end of the year. And as I said at the last service, if Jesus can do loaves and fishes, we can sure do 3 barrels of food for that. That's easy.
And we'd like to thank all of you who purchased teddy bears. I just love seeing the teddy bears. And normally they're sitting on our chairs and we get to hug them, but please send your love to them because they're going to be going off to wonderful families and they'll share their love there.
We'll actually be doing a little ceremony to embed our love in these bears later in the service. So join us this Friday evening at 7 o'clock for our traditional Christmas Eve candle lighting service. The evening will feature Christmas carols, new soloists, and a creative and metaphysical enactment of the Christmas story. And that sweet little boy in that picture is my grandson. It was 4 years ago, but it seems like 10 years ago with all the coronavirus, doesn't it?
That captures the essence of that Christmas Eve service. It's all my favorite service of the year. So please join us. You don't want to miss this. And we have more room. Please reserve your seat by signing up on the patio or on our website.
Mark your calendar to join us on New Year's Eve for our annual Burning Bowl ceremony. You can release concerns and patterns that hold you back, which Kristen's going to talk about today, things that hold us back, and set your heart ablaze with zeal and promise for a wonderful year ahead.
Do see our website for a full listing of all of our events, in person or online. And if you're not receiving our weekly e-news, use the connection card link on the Watch Live page to sign up.
You may also wish to discuss Sunday messages and more with your community on Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. at the weekly Spiritual Growth Circle. The meetings are currently hosted on Zoom, and you can get the Zoom, probably up there, but you can get the Zoom address from the website.
We are going to be taking a break from that class for the next 2 weeks, and we'll resume the first Tuesday of January. As we prepare to light the Advent calendars.
Whoop.
What? It's the connection practice circles that are taking a break. That's
Somebody
Monday
was
night.
taking a break. Thank you, ladies, for helping us
Veronica
with
and Lola, thank you.
that. We ad-libbed here.
Thank you. See our website for full listing of all our events. And as we prepare to light the Advent candles, please join me in taking a conscious breath. And affirm our statement of faith together. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God.
And I'd like to invite the youth ministry forward to light our Advent candle of joy today. We've missed you all up here. It's nice to have you. I don't know what's happened to the reading. Carl, do you have
The
it by
reading,
chance?
Carl. I'm good, but not that good.
Did you happen to pick up their reading? No. I gave my only copy.
There we go.
Ah, Tyler to the rescue.
I can handle Bruno. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Oh, it's good to see you. Hi. Okay, so this article is by Reverend Deanne Morency in A Christmas to Remember. And it says, "Joy is contagious. This time of year, it swirls around us, palpable as we walk the streets past twinkling lights and colorful decorations. We can smell it in the cookies baking and the eggnog nogging on the shelf of the fridge. It bursts forth from carolers and holiday music playing all around us, and it's reflected in the eyes of children eagerly awaiting their gifts. It's equally present in those quiet moments in front of the fire. At Christmas, we celebrate the true light, which enlightens everyone. That true light is in each of us right now. As the days shorten and the darkness lengthens, we're invited to stand in the light of our divine awareness to awaken our Christ nature. This is our great work, to shine our divine light and share it with joy every day, all year round. To be that light even when we or those around us may feel alone, don't smell any cookies or see lights or hear carols. The reminder this holiday season is to celebrate the divinity that we are and joyously share our light with the world. And now we will light our Advent candle for joy. Ooh. Got it. Good job. Yay! Thank you.
Who better to light the candle of joy than you three? Thank you so much. All right, now we're going to prepare for our time of meditation. So we invite you to open your hearts, receive this beautiful song from Daniel, to be followed by some guidance and silence.
I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. Inside there is peace, inside there is joy, inside there is more than enough. Inside there is peace, inside there is joy, inside there is sacred love. I will
Let's breathe into that heart space within us. Place where this presence of sacred love is felt, known. Inside, we come in contact with the presence and the power of God, the divine that guides us, brings forth our best and highest good. Inside our hearts is that deep, abiding joy, an everlasting wellspring available to us at any time. I invite you to allow just a moment of joy you have recently experienced. Perhaps something you saw or heard, felt. Something during this season of light. And as you allow that memory to arise in your heart and mind again, soak up the details, the joyful feelings, bringing those forward once again. That memory all the way down into the little cells of your heart. Let it infill you with the feeling of joy. Let's take that feeling to our silence, resting in joy. Quiet now. Silence. just as we have touched in with that power of joy that resides in the heart. See this blessing given all over the world in this moment, in this season of divine light around the world. See children and adults, people of all ages, and shapes and sizes and colors and nationalities and cultures, touching joy, finding a moment when all worries and concerns are set aside and suspended. The feeling of joy is sparked in their hearts and minds. Moment of connection with one another, with the divine presence that is everywhere. Like stars lighting up the sky, we see these sparks of joy happening. We give thanks to the kindness that is present now, the love that is known, recognized, and made sacred once again. We give thanks that we have found our way to the God of many names that lives inside us all. And so it is.
This life as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this life as it is, go inside to find my God. I'll go inside to find my God. I'll go inside to find my God. Ran away from the sun, ran away from the rain, hid away from everyone, ran away from the pain. Now I'm so out of breath. Now I'm so scared to death. But I'm not running anymore. I'm not hiding anymore. For the first time in my life, I will stand my ground. No more running round. Here I am. What's a life covered up? Day and night, just not to fail. Like a life without love. Is its own kind of jail. And what a waste to regret what I haven't tried yet. I'm not running anymore. I'm not hiding anymore. For the first time in my life, I will stand my ground with my heart unbound. Here I am. Throw in the game just to make sure that I never win. Kept counting myself out again and again. So nervous, running in circles till nobody knew where I'd been. Well, maybe today is the day that I let it all in. Maybe my secret hurts no original sin. It's time, I've made up my mind. I'm ready to dive in. I'm not running anymore. I'm not hiding anymore. For the first time in my life, I will stand my ground. I will sing out loud. Here I am. Oh, yeah. Here I am. All right. Here I am.
And he expects me to speak after that. You know, I just now, in that song, knew what it felt like when Teresa of Avila had that vision of being pierced by the angel. And there, you know, you've probably seen that image before where the arrow is like going into her heart. She's being pierced by love. That piercing voice that you get, Daniel, is like that arrow of love. It's good stuff. We've all been pierced. Yeah. So that's what it's all about, really, right? Right there. That's what it's all about. Not running, not hiding, not covering up, not being small, not constricting ourselves, not contracting, but letting ourselves be. Letting ourselves be the truest self that we have come to be. That's what Christmas is. That's the whole Christmas message right there. That there is a rebirthing in our minds, a rebirthing of our consciousness, and a knowing once again of the truth of who we are. A remembering, but not just a remembering like, oh yeah, I just remembered I, left something in the oven. It starts with that, right? It starts with that kind of, oh yeah. But then it's an invitation, it's an opening, it's a piercing knowing, a consciousness awakening. A door that cannot be shut again has opened. So every Christmas time, we celebrate this idea again and again, but it's not because we've shut back. There's sort of like cumulative growth that happens in our consciousness. We may feel like sometimes we're going backwards, right? You're like, oh, darn, that old thing, that issue's up again, I'm doing that again, and we think somehow we've regressed. And maybe we've slipped back a little, like the Baptists say, backsliding, right? But it's not possible to go all the way back, ever. Yeah, because our consciousness keeps opening and opening and opening, and our hearts keep opening and opening and opening, and our minds keep opening, and our bodies keep opening and relaxing. And then all that can happen is the truth of who we are. All that can be known in the world is more and more and more of the truth that we already came to be. The only difference between masters like Jesus and us is that we just forgot. And they don't forget. So the forgetting and remembering cycle that we keep getting on is just part of our human experience that we haven't quite yet mastered. But when we do recognize, I'm not going to run anymore, I'm not going to hide anymore, I'm not going to get myself out of breath and run in circles and try to be something that I'm not. And instead I'm just going to relax into what I am and who I am. That's when we meet the Christ. That's when we ignite the spirit of Christmas and we live that spirit. As Daniel sang at the opening, there's something about Christmas time. Good Jewish boy singing the song, It's just like there's something about it. It's the season of divine light that we are all in, regardless of our religious walk or our spiritual walk. The Christ does not belong only to Christianity. It is a universal principle. Hindus talk about the Christ all the time. I know some great Hindu teachers have written books on Jesus and the Christ principle. Paramahansa Yogananda talked about, in Self-Realization Fellowship, talks about the Christ. So it's everywhere, permeating everywhere. It's a universal principle. It's a cosmic principle. And it's the truth of who we are in our hearts. That's the message of Christmas. And joy is certainly a part of that. That exuberant joy that makes us want to dance and shout and connect and have fun, and that quiet joy. The joy that just resides in us in those quiet moments of reflection. It's all part of the expression. Many years ago at Christmas time, a wise man from the East traveled this direction. Actually, I was in Columbia, Missouri, and landed in the same public hot tub where I was soaking. There's a guy from Vietnam, and we started having this conversation, and I had of late at that time been wondering why I felt so much joy. Isn't it interesting that the mind just wants to chew on it? Oh, why am I so happy? Sort of a curiosity, like what happened, so we could keep it going. Maybe that was part of it. So anyway, I'd been kind of living in that question, and then I had this conversation with this man, and he said at the end of our conversation, I see that your faith brings you great joy. And I was like, there's my answer. It's our faith, right? It's our understanding that the presence that permeates life and that permeates ourselves, and that is the thing that guides us every day in our lives, that it is that brings us joy. It is that causes us to feel joy because we are connected in a conscious way to the truth of who we are. We're making the closest connection we can to that truest divine self that lives inside of us. So when we are in the experience of joy, in the presence of joy, we can also be aware that, here I am living my faith in this abiding joy. It brings us full circle, doesn't it, of this journey of Christmas time Advent that prepares us for the awakening of this truth in us. That faith begins the journey, this living faith that we talked about this year, and brings us to this day of abiding joy as we have traveled through infinite love, as we have traveled through deep peace. So when we come back around, it's like, and reflect back onto where we've been on the journey. Remember the first week of Advent, it was also the first day of Hanukkah, and we told the story of that Lisa brought to me of Haim, and how Haim had longed to have Hanukkah celebration, right? And candles for their menorah, but there had been a great drought, and there was not enough olive oil, And so he had this faith, this prayer that he literally wrote down on paper and left on the mountaintop into the wind so that the Almighty would receive his prayer. And that prayer was answered, and the menorahs were lit all over the village. But this is how it is when we exercise our faith, that we put out our prayers of faith, that not only do we receive the answer to our prayers, getting what we need, but we also get our joy multiplied. And so in the multiplication of his joy, the other villagers saw him for the first time, really saw and honored who he was. He wasn't just the poorest man in the village anymore. He was a man of great faith that cared about all of the village and cared deeply about this practice of lighting the menorahs and the miracle that it represented. And he also gained a spiritual friendship out of it. So you can think about times in your life when you have exercised your faith to cast some kind of prayer into the wind, so to speak, and it not only comes back, but there are multiplied joys, right? We say it every Sunday when we do the offertory, right? As we give, so we receive, and that this sense of who I am, the truth of who I am, is multiplied. So this Christ idea, this divine self, its emanation is multiplied as I give. As I give, I receive, and as I receive, I give, and we're just in this constant flow of abundant good. It just gets so good, you know? Life gets so good when we walk this path. I remember somebody just mentioned Karen Drucker to me when Karen Drucker sang that song, I Lost the Right to Sing the Blues. You know, it's like we get onto this spiritual path. I love the blues. You probably love the blues too, but it's just like, yeah, I totally got it when she said that. You lose the right to complain because life just gets sweet. And it's not because necessarily circumstances have changed, although circumstances will change. They'll be difficult at times, they'll be challenging at times, they'll be joyful at times, they'll be easy at times. Life will feel mundane at times, you know, but it's that underneath. It's that abiding joy that is underneath. That's what we're touching. Abiding means, according to the dictionary, fixed or stable state of being. So there is this sense that there is a fixed or stable state of being in us that is joy. Now, when we might be feeling down or depressed or blue, we might think, I don't know where that is, but it seems to have exited somewhere, you know. But if we can just trust and breathe into it and recognize that, no, there is a little joy in the quiet. There is a little space. I can make a little space in myself anyway and hold faith that the joy is there, that the joy will come again, that it comes back around. And doesn't it? It comes back around, right? The feeling, the experience, the outward expression of joy. Peace Pilgrim said, how could one know God and not be joyous? How could one know God and not be joyous? And then on the other hand, Lucinda Williams sings, you took my joy and I want it back. Do you know Lucinda Williams? Some of you, that's kind of how she sings, right? And then she repeats that over and over. You took my joy and I want it back. Yeah. The first time I heard this, Brenly's a fan of hers, the first time we were dating and she started playing Lucinda Williams. And at first I was like, okay, I could kind of get with her. And then this song came on. I was like, oh no. I'm not listening to this. I'm not listening to her say that somebody took her joy because it's not possible, right? It's not possible for somebody or something to take our joy. And so that's when we get into that sort of blaming, judgmental, kind of egoic mind that just, it creates cycles for us that are unhealthy and that will make us feel like we are so far separated from joy. I don't mean to talk badly about Lucinda. We've seen her in concert and she is wonderful in her own way. Joy abides in us as an everlasting state of being. So if we can just breathe into that knowing, And even if you're at a place where you're like, I don't know, I'm not feeling it. It's like, okay, I'm gonna go with this. I'm gonna practice this. I'm gonna just say, all right, if this is true that there is this abiding joy, if it's true that there is a spirit within me, I believe that. So I believe that there is this goodness in me, that there is a spirit that is present, that I'm going to breathe into that possibility. Maybe we could start with that, the possibility that joy can be accessed, that joy won't be such an elusive thing to me, but it is something that can come through me and as me and into my life. And then, once we've trained our consciousness on the possibility, it's just like if you're looking for a red Mustang and all of a sudden you see red Mustangs all over the highway, right? It's because he's brought it into your consciousness. So if you bring into your consciousness that joy is not elusive but abiding in me, then lo and behold, you're going to find joy. It's going to bump into you. It's going to show up in your life. You're going to see it. You're going to find yourself laughing and dancing and singing or having those sort of reflective moments of satisfaction and fulfillment because you have simply entertained the possibility that it could be living inside of you and in your life. That's abiding joy. That's that knowing that it is here for us. Pierre Teilhard, I usually don't say his first name, so it's tripping me up. Teilhard de Chardin, that's it. He said this. His name is longer than the quote. Joy is the most infallible sign of the presence of God. So when we are in the presence of joy, we can recognize, the infallible sign, the presence of God is here. It's not that Old Testament kind of idea of the, punishing, wrathful kind of sense that we had in the early days. It's joy, the infallible presence of God. Jenny Herzog, in the throes, I'd say in the heart of our experience of COVID in the fall of 2022, was not feeling very joyful. She was feeling isolated. She was feeling anxious. She lives in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and it was starting to get chilly, and she had just quit her job, and she noticed that people around her, her friends were also expressing this sense of isolation and anxiousness, and she thought, what could I do? And a divine idea came through. Tap for joy. See, she's a jazz singer and a tap dancer. And so she went out into the park, and she just at the beginning it was just her friends, and started giving them tap lessons. And then she put up a handmade sign that said tap for joy, and on Saturdays from this hour and 15 minutes you can come and it's free. It's just a community gathering to learn to tap dance. And she made these 2x2 pieces of board that people could stand on, be physically distanced. And then people would show up in sneakers and sandals, which are hard to tap in. So that she put out an all-call on social media, and she got bags and boxes full of tap shoes from people's closets and garages and basements and places that they hadn't been seen for some time, and they got to come out and play and dance in the park. And so people would show up and they just go through and find something that close enough to fit them and jump on a board and start tapping. And she said that the reason why she knew this would work or had a sense of it was because she said it's impossible to tap dance and be unhappy at the same time. And so I'm kind of wanting to take tap dancing lessons now, aren't you? I think we should have tap here at Unity. Anyway, so that was her foundational belief, right, in this idea, this vision, was that we cannot, it's impossible to be unhappy while you tap dance. And so her theory proved true. And dozens of people, some of the people that were interviewed, this was on a local NPR station, said, people of all ages, all ethnicities, they would join together in the park, and some would come once, and many of them were devoted, came every week, and would just have fun. Sometimes she always had recorded music, but sometimes live musicians would show up and play as well. And one of her students was 8-year-old Rias Jakowitz, he and his mother had just moved from New York to Cambridge, and he was having a hard time, because he was on Zoom classes and he didn't really know anybody. And she said, his mother said, he's a very artistic, creative guy. And here he found tap, and he just fell in love. So now he's tap dancing every week, and they've become fast friends. So just the love of following our hearts, right? Opening ourselves. When we create that space that we talked about, divine ideas flow, divine ideas come through. And those ideas, as they drop in, we realize, oh, I have a gift to offer. I know how to do that. You know, in her case, tap dancing, it came easily and effortlessly. So whatever it is for you that, you know, smiling and hugging, or your particular talent or gift that you could give to the world. I love that when people just stand around with those signs. This was pre-COVID, of course, and just say free hugs. You know, I've hugged a couple people at the Broadway Plaza that are standing there. It's just young men just hugging people as they come by. It's just delightful, right? That experience, that connection that we make, that surprising connection that happens when we share ourselves, when we open ourselves. So if we follow our divine ideas through, they land us in joyful places, in joyful expressions, places we might not have imagined otherwise. Believe it or not, there is a book called In Tap Dancing in Zen. Tap Dancing in Zen. It's by Jerry Larkin. And Jerry Larkin speaks about the Dalai Lama. Now, the Dalai Lama, think about the Dalai Lama, one of the most powerful, if you will, spiritual contemporary teachers of our time, that is living, a living spiritual leader that is really teaching the masses, essentially, and bringing Tibetan Buddhist ideas to the masses. But they're not really owned by Tibetan Buddhism. It's just, you know, who they are, what they emanate. And part of what gets emanated through the Dalai Lama is the spirit of friendliness and joy. A huge part of how he shows up. In fact, Jerry Larkin writes, when you meet him face to face, he grins at you like you are his long-lost friend. He meets everybody the same. There's no sort of this sense of hierarchy, right? He's there to embrace and to connect with each one. And he looks deep into your eyes, Jerry writes, with breathtaking kindness. And he laughs with everyone all the time. So when he was asked at one time, why do all the Tibetan Buddhist monks, it seemed like, giggle all the time? Like, what is so funny that they're just bringers of this joy all the time? There's just a real curiosity. It was John Cleese, actually, from Monty Python's Hall of Fame that was asking the question. And the answer was very serious. Actually, the Dalai Lama got very serious when he answered about laughter. And he said, laughter is very helpful to me because when I'm teaching or I am in political negotiations, when people laugh, they open their mind to new ideas. They're more willing to entertain something new after they have laughed. And so part of that is just a recognition that it's easier for us to admit new ideas and new ways of thinking and open the door through laughter and joy. Now here's a serious consideration. What if the hokey pokey is what it's all about? Don't you love that? Yeah, it's on t-shirts, it's everywhere. And to one woman in particular, that is what it was all about. Her name is Phyllis Brinkerhoff, and she lives in Prairie Village, Kansas. And CBS Sunday Morning picked up her story. She loves the hokey pokey. Now, a lot of people do the hokey pokey, at a wedding or whatever. I don't know that everybody would say they love it. They just kind of sort of groan into the circle, right? All right, yeah, right. Okay, right hand, left hand, So, we do it, but Phyllis loved it. She loved it so much that she made a copy of the CD and she gave it to her neighbor, and she was insistent that the neighbor listen to it and pretty much get hooked on it like Phyllis was. And she was like, have you listened yet? She kept, every time she would see her, she's sort of a front porch sitter, right? So you see your neighbor as you're walking by, and then they have this conversation. Then she started sending urgent text messages saying they were urgent. Urgent. Have you listened to the hokey pokey yet? Are you into it? Are you doing it at home with your daughter? And the neighbor would just, every time she'd see her, try to change the subject. She's like, didn't really have time, wasn't really that interested. And so anyway, she happened to hear Phyllis say that it was her 93rd birthday coming up. And the neighbor had this divine idea. So she went home and told her daughter was pretty young, and together they put together these invitations to all the neighbors to come and sing and dance the Hokey Pokey for Phyllis on her front yard on her birthday. And this is what they did. And wait till you see Phyllis's face. This is the next slide. There she is. So the Hokey Pokey, that is what it's all about. But it's not just the Hokey Pokey, right? It's what is the Hokey Pokey. The Hokey Pokey is a silly song that gets us all together. It's a song that we tend to do in a circle. It's a song that we do in community, in unison. It is an act of generosity that this neighbor had this idea, and then everybody in the neighborhood came together. Why? Simply to bring joy. That's it. You know, what if we made our purpose in life, our aim in the next week, and then it'll soon become a habit, to just bring joy, to truly be a spreader of joy? That could be a lot of fun. And it will bring, of course, us just as much joy in the sharing of that joy as it does to the recipient who gets to receive it. So laughing easily and effortlessly, singing, dancing, these are ways that these expressions of joy bring greater joy to us. You think about the Dalai Lama's, if you walk away from that story, you just realize, wow, here's a spiritual practice, laugh often and easily, right? That's one that we can all sign up for, right? It's like meditate 20 minutes twice a day, like the transcendental meditation. Maybe. Laugh easily and often? Absolutely, sign me up. That's the spiritual practice I want to do, right? Just as effective, right? Just as effective. And so we can say yes to that. After Brenly and Grace and I had a tickle fest last night, of course, in the moment, I was just fully in it, but afterwards, it was just like, God, it feels so good to laugh like that, right? Just this sort of belly laughing, massaging all your organs. That's why they say laughter is good medicine, right? Because it just does that for us. Or you can just tell a silly little joke, like this one. Oh, that was it. I didn't have to tell a joke. How much did Santa pay for his sleigh? Nothing. It was on the house. All right. What are we really doing when we are relaxing into joy? We are just being ourselves, right? When we laugh like that, we are just being ourselves. We're being natural. That's like Miracle on 34th Street. Remember that movie, Miracle on 43rd? Yeah, I love that movie. So Kris Kringle, of course, is Santa Claus. He's not just playing Santa Claus at Macy's. He is Santa Claus, right? But all the management and the staff are kind of like, yeah, like as he's, pretty much as being Santa Claus and saying he's Santa Claus, and they're all saying, yeah, right. So they're just kind of going along with it. It seems pretty harmless. But after a while, they start to think it's a problem. And so they bring a psychiatrist in, because this guy's crazy. He thinks he's Santa Claus, right? We got to, give him some help and help him move through this delusion that he's having. And then pretty soon they take him to court, and he has to testify that he's Santa Claus. But all the while, you can see that he is Santa Claus, right? He is the spirit of Santa Claus. He is honest, and he is jolly, and he is generous, and he is wise, and he is kind, and he is loving, and he is compassionate. He's everything that Santa Claus is. And so the whole time, Kris Kringle remains true to who he is. You can't rattle him in the court or in the psychiatry exam, because it's just like, it's just who I am. Now, what if we were like that about being the Christ? If we were just unrattled, not hesitant, not afraid, not there were no charades, right? There was no cover-up. It's just, this is who I am. This is the truth of who I am. We step into it, we allow it. If you think about it, some people get all upset that, we intermix Christ and Santa at Christmas time, or that Santa maybe is better known the Christ spirit. Christmas time is probably more the complaint. But if you think about it, there's very similar characteristics, right? The generosity, the joy, the love, all of these things, all these qualities, spiritual qualities, are embodied by both. And so if we could step into this idea, if we could be like Kris Kringle and just be like, it can't be separated from me because it just is who I am. So yeah, if I go stand on the street corner and start yelling, I'm the Christ, some people might start to go, I don't know about that person, and maybe we'll even get to take into court and we'll have to testify. But if we know it in truth, if we live it, if we breathe it, if we allow ourselves to really let the truth of who we are have its way with us, even as an experiment, we could try it. We'll notice how natural that is. We'll notice how unnatural it is to do all the other things that we do in trying to be someone other than who we are. We'll suddenly recognize how all that baggage of trying to be something else or someone else falls away, and we're just simply, purely, and truly, at the very essence of us, this bubbling up of joy, this deep, abiding joy. It's there for us. It's always there for us. It's just covered up by all the stuff. I think Eric Butterworth maybe said it best when he said, when the ties that bind the mind are broken and a person is introduced to their real self that has no limitations, the bells of heaven ring for joy. When we finally stop binding the mind, we break open those ties, then we are introduced to our real self, and then the bells of heaven ring for joy. So what is it that you are doing that is binding up your mind? What are the ties that bind your mind? You can think of them as simple as unwrapping a package at Christmas, right? You've got a nice big bow on there, and you just undo the bow. Sometimes it takes a while to get the bow undone if somebody's like really good wrapper, right? But that's okay. If we could be mindful of the fact every time we undo a package during this season that we are untying our minds, unbinding our minds, and we are opening up to the presence, to the truth, to the gift of who we are. The gift giving, the exchange, that's just a representation, right, of what's really happening. That there is a generosity shared and there is a joy to be had as we unbind the mind. So wherever we notice the mind is sort of tied up, when we notice ourselves not feeling joy or feeling quite the opposite, we can say, what's tying up my mind right now? What's binding me right now? And could I just loosen that a little bit and see the gift that is there for me to open up, the joy that abides inside of me to be let out? That's really what we're after, isn't it? So the Christ light then is what is available to us once we have opened up the mind like that. Then we notice that the mind is just filled with light. When all the busy thoughts and all that, programs and projects and conversations and things to do and things that happened and previous conversations and conversations yet to have, when we begin to meditate and notice all that busyness that's going on, one of my favorite things to do is just like imagine opening a door and just ushering all that stuff out. And when I do, all that's there is light. And so you just bathe yourself in that light. Just let yourself breathe in that light and be in that light. It's a kind of anointing, right? That's what Christ means, anointed. And so we anoint ourselves in that light. We bathe in that light. We recognize who we are. And then we affirm that truth. We can speak that truth and claim that truth. I am the Christ. With deep abiding joy, I am that Christ. Or whatever else, whatever other qualities, or just simply that. I am the Christ. Now, for some of us to even begin to think of that or say that, it's like, feels a little blasphemous, right? Even after all your years in Unity, it might even still feel a little bit at bay. Anybody feel that way? Still feels a little bit like, I don't know if I can go there. So we just let open the door as much as we can, right? Let a little light peek through. Yeah. I am becoming the Christ. I am moving toward the truth of who I am. I am leaving behind what I am not. And so it's a process. It's like a labyrinth walk, right? It's a process of shedding and coming to center and integrating and bringing out into the world and then going back and shedding again and setting our intentions. That's life. That's our walk. As long as we're walking toward, right? As long as we are walking toward that truth, that light, then we are living and breathing the spirit of Christmas. It doesn't have to be just at Christmas time, of course, either. It's every day of our lives. Just like the Yule is coming in a few days, right? The winter solstice will be the day that is the shortest day time, the longest night. And then after that, the coming of the light. Every day, more and more and more light to come. That's what we open to. You know, the owl, this is making me come back to winter solstice. We had a ritual Friday night on the labyrinth. Michelle, who was just up here at Chicala, did a really wonderful job with her priestess sisters leading that ritual. And it was in the theme of owl because we have these two great horned owls that have been living on our property for months and months and months. Every night at dusk, the owls are hooting, and sometimes into the dark are hooting. It's so powerful. And, you know, I come out of my office, and Felicia comes down, and Mr. Bruce from Sounder Creek Academy, we take pictures, and we watch the owls, and we listen to them hoot. So I really invite you to come around that time and to really enjoy this. And the other night, one, you know, I came out, one flew over, and I just sort of followed it back to one of the pinnacles of the cypress tree. And I've been holding this idea of just a deeper understanding of what this owl is bringing. You know, when Daniel was singing at 9:30 this morning, the image came in my mind. The owl was spread out with a big heart on its chest, and I remember that the owl has zero tolerance for deception. They can see in the dark, and they have zero tolerance for deception. Yeah. This is abiding joy. This is stepping into the Christ. This is Christmas. Zero tolerance for deception. Do not deceive yourselves anymore. You are not less than. You are not small. You don't need to contract. You don't need to be something other than you are. Let that deception go. And then there's just your big heart and your big truth of who you are, revealed in the wisdom of owl, in the wisdom of the Christ, in the wisdom of the truth of who you are. I am the Christ, and joy abides in me and emanates from me. That's the truth of who we are. Let's say it together. Together? I am the Christ, abiding in and emanating joy. So it is.
Thank you, Kristen. That was great. I particularly like the reminder that no one can take our joy away from us. That's ours to give away if that's our choice. Our prayer chaplains are available after the service today to provide personal prayer support. So if you're a prayer chaplain serving today, please stand. You'll see our beautiful ladies with their lavender stoles.
Whether you have a joy or concern on your heart today, praying with the prayer chaplains is a powerful opportunity to have your intentions raised up.
Now let's open our hearts to the practice of giving. I invite you to prepare your gifts as we align with the universal law of circulation, because we all know there is no lack or limitation, and abundance is our true nature.
For your convenience, there is a variety of ways to financially give to this community. In addition to checks and cash, you may use the download the Give app. It's pronounced or spelled G-Y-V-E. And you may use that for your credit or debit card. Envelopes are provided on the clipboard and in the back of each chair. Or you can set up bill pay through your bank. Those of you at home may click on the donate button on the live, I'm having a hard time talking this morning, watch live program page.
One thing I want to let people know, there's questions come up in the community of what does it cost Unity to when people use Give? And the answer is 3%. So it's not some great big crazy number, but it is 3%. There is also a little checkbox you can choose, and you can actually pay the 3%. So if you want to give $10, you could have the 3% charged through also, and the whole $10 would come through. But that is to get rid of that concern that anybody had. I invite you to take your tithe and offering in your hand and repeat your affirmation with me. Together, divine love, one with me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am joy-filled and grateful. Thank you.
Hello again. One more song for you, from me, for this morning. You're invited to come back at 2 o'clock. I'm going to sing like a 90-minute concert, no intermission, more songs. More songs, and I know that the price given is $25, which is appreciated, and I also know, because I sprung it on them in the first service and they nodded vigorously, that is not a price that is intended to keep anybody from coming. So if you don't have $25 but want to come, I want you there, the church wants you there. Please come as my treat, okay? Whatever you can pay, what you can't, okay? So if you want to come, don't let the money be the issue, all right? Yeah, I mean it, and the church means it. And I have, out on my table, I'll be very brief, I have CDs, and I have, which I still like personally, but then I also have USB drive, which is a complete collection. It's 13 records on a little depressingly tiny credit card-sized object. And then I travel and display proudly my wife's jewelry. She's a silversmith, a self-taught silversmith, and her work is beautiful. And I'm honestly, I say it and I mean it. I'm more proud of the jewelry than I am of my own music on the table. So if you feel like even just oogling or whatever you pronounce that word. So this last song is different than anything I've ever done before. It was new when the world stopped turning a couple of years ago. To me, it's one of the most personal. Every song I sing is about me, in some sense about the life story, but this one is very much on the subject, actually, of the morning. I didn't know it would be, but it is. I am the family of Holocaust survivors, and came up in the music world the last 25 years without really fully understanding what it is I actually do, what kind of music I actually make, and maybe most of all, why. And only, it's literally, by the way, there's a lot of feedback on this mic. I think this one is probably the problem. This can be muted. I could be wrong. Just this one. Let's see if that's better. Anyway, so this is an autobiographical song. You're about to witness Danny realizing what it is I do and why, where it comes from, and not insignificantly, who taught me how to do this thing I do. And it is, because there's not a moment of lying going on up here. When I'm looking like I'm feeling it, I'm feeling it. So a song that is way outside my comfort zone. I hope you enjoy it. It's the only song in 25 years I ever performed with a track, and you're about to know why. So hit it, bring it loud, and let's do it. It's all right. You'll get it.
I could sing
Yeah, much more.
about mistakes I've made, broken hearts and broken wings.
I could sing about my aches and pains and the one that got away. But it seems to me the world has its hurts to spare.
Much louder.
Shadows are everywhere. I've decided I've cried enough. There's plenty of songs about tough luck. I'm gonna sing about love. Gonna sing about love. Lift somebody up instead of talking about tough luck. I can't deny I still dream about the glory, the Grammy, the gold. I cannot lie, I still wish sometimes my eyes and my heart would close. But it seems to me my family escaped the war, and they never sang anymore. They lost everything they had, and if a song is all I can give back, I'm gonna sing about love. Whoa. Gonna sing about love. Whoa. Lift somebody up, lift somebody up. Gonna sing about love instead of talking about tough love. Whoa, no more tough love. Tell you what I'm gonna do. Gonna take my cue from a few folks I look up to. I'm gonna sing about love.
Stevie Wonder sings in the key of life. Bobby McFerrin says, be happy, it'll be alright. Marvin Gaye showed the way to what's going on. It's a wonderful world thanks to Louis Armstrong. Soul Asylum saved those runaway kids. John Lennon just imagined and the whole world did. John Denver took a skyward, Tina Turner to the sea. Stevie Winwood to a higher love, John Legend and Calm to freedom. Pete Seeger's gonna overcome. Bob Marley just smiled at the rising sun. Eminem will lose himself before the moment's gone. Miss Jackson knows the knowledge is what we want. Gloria Gaynor maintained that we're gonna survive. Tim McGraw wants us to live like we are dying. Aretha got R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Bette Midler from a distance, the whole world we see. Tom Petty, Free Falls, Leanne hopes we dance. Josh Groban raised us up. If we're hurting, R.E.M. understands. Irving B bless the USA. Van Morrison ushered in a brand new day. Whitney sang about the greatest love of all. Johnny Nash can see clearly now the rain won't fall. Tate knows we're beautiful, Christina does too. Rihanna sees us shining like a diamond. We keep walking like the Foo Fighters fight the power, public enemy's head. Miley is a climber, Andy Grammer keeps his head up. Bill Withers, we can lean on him. Natasha's unwritten, Taylor Swift shakes it off again. Lady Gaga was born this way. Jason Mraz truly got to be our friend today. The Black Eyed Peas wonder where is the love. Has Ray got a beat? Journey never stop believing in us. Simon over troubled water made a bridge. Elton John lit a candle for Diana, he did. It's the same love. Macklemore was moved to pray. Izzy made a rainbow with an ukulele. James Brown, loud and proud, whose heart we laid it out the way it is. Queen made us into champions. U2, Dr. King, and the power of one. Sam Cooke made it love, change is gonna come. Gabriel ain't giving up on us just yet. We are the world saved lives. We saw they couldn't get. Irene Cara, what a feeling alive. Pharrell made us happy. Katy Perry lit a firework in the sky. Carole King, we've got a friend. Switch foot dared us all to move again. Mama Carter's words of wisdom were to let it be. The weight of the world is taken off by Aloe Black and Avicii. What you gonna do? So what do I do? What you gonna do? I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna sing about love. Sing in the key of life. Sing about love. Sing about love. McKenna said be happy, it'll be alright. Lift somebody up. What's going on? Sing instead of talking about tough love. Thanks to Louis Armstrong. I'm gonna sing about love.
That's the Christmas miracle that you could remember all of that. Singing about love, isn't that the truth? Here are the gifts that represent love and joy and all the gifts of the season that we are emulating and embodying and bringing forth and spreading into the world. Thank you, Spirit, for our ministry, for music, for talented musicians, for each other, for community, for owls. Let's bless these gifts and so many more together. We give thanks for the ever-increasing, constant flow of absolute good in our lives now. So it is. Well, I'd like us to send some love to all these beautiful teddy bears, and I'd like to invite forward Laura Mallory. I'm springing this on her. But you just have to see some of these. I'm sorry, but talk about joy. Handmade by this woman. Come on up. I mean, look at these. The big bear. Oh, here's another one. Do you want to hold some of yours while we bless them? I mean, unbelievable craftsmanship. And so these, along with all the bears that you all have purchased, are going to children who are in protective custody. Imagine the children that will be brightened by each of these beautiful cuddly toys, including the little praying angel tiny bear that Carl was admiring earlier. So let's love them up. Let's fill them with our love. Just maybe silently sending your own love across the stage, and to Laura for her beautiful gifts, and all the way down to all the bears. And if you want to do it like the children do, you can send pew, 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 pew. All right, they have received. I can tell by the little smiles they all have. So off they go. Thank you. Let's bless Laura. Can we bless this woman? Laura, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the divine light within you. And so it is. Thank you. And thanks for being a good sport, since I didn't even tell you that was happening. And let's send our blessings over to the children, giving thanks that they came in with us today, and we'll send our love back to them once again, and the teachers. Together, children, youth, and teachers, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the divine light within you. So we have the opportunity to be together today just at 2 o'clock, just about an hour or so from now. And then, the next time that we'll be together, if you're not sure, this will help you remember. Do you know what Adam said the night before Christmas? It's Christmas Eve. Why are you giving me that?
This is for the one person who is afraid to come because they don't have the $25.
Oh, David's covering whoever wants to come to the concert. Thank you, David. Bless you. Spirit of generosity. All right, well, let's close out with our prayer of protection, followed by our peace song. Move back so you can see this wonderful woman do her signing. Together, the light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is. I am divine. And so it is. Now our peace song. With me, let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God ever present, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes. You are the light, the love, and the joy on earth right now. So let your light shine, have fun, and spread joy. Amen. Merry Christmas.